My name is Monil Kapadia. I am a CPA, CA in Canada, CFA, and a chartered accountant. Personal tax filing has never been so simple. Today, I'll walk you through what information I'll need to file your personal tax return. Some basic information before we go ahead. Filing a tax return is always beneficial because you will get a lot of provincial and federal benefits and credits such as child benefit, Ontario Trillium, HST, climate action incentive. It is also important from the compliance viewpoint because if you're applying for citizenship in future, you will have to have all your tax returns filed. We normally file for husband and wife together. Those are called linked returns. The reason for linked return is the tax credits and the benefits can be shared and transferred to optimize the tax situation. In Canada, the tax year is January to December. So you will file and pay taxes for the income earned during a calendar year. If you are a full-time employee, you will receive a T4 slip, which is summary of all your gross income and taxes deducted during the year. You will normally receive a T4 slip in the month of February or March in the next year. If you have worked for more than one employer, then you will receive a T4 slip from each of those employers. The deadline to file the tax return is 30th April. And if you are a self-employed, then the deadline is 15th of June. Now, the information I'll need is basically a T1013 authorization form. So I'll email you this form. You will have to sign and send it back to me. This will allow me to represent you to CRA, extract your information from CRA, and revise the tax return in future if required. I'll also share a personal tax checklist, which will have all your basic information that I'll need to file the tax return. Now, this is how personal tax checklist will look. The first section is your basic information. So your name, SIN number, address, the province in which we are filing the tax return, your date of birth, contact information, and your children's information. Income section will talk about all your taxable income that you earned during the year. So if you have filed the taxes in the prior years, then I'll need the personal tax return and the notice of assessment to review. If you have filed the tax return through me, then I have this information with me. If you're filing a zero return, then it's yes. If no, then I will need what income that you have earned during the year along with the supporting that I have mentioned in this column. So if you earned an employment income, you will have a T4. If you have paid tuition fees, you will have the T20 202A. If you have received the EI benefit for maternity and employment, or if you have earned a capital gain, then these are the tax forms that you will have to provide me. If it's a mutual fund income, then it's a T3 slip. Now, if you have contributed to RRSP, then I will need the RRSP receipt, and you need to let me know if it's a self or a spousal contribution. If it's a withdrawal, and if it's under the home buyer plan, then you need to let me know. Now comes the deductions and the benefits for all the credits that you received. So if you paid the professional dues, that can be claimed as deduction. If you earned a capital gain, then I'll need the supporting of all the capital gain and the cost so that we can calculate the capital gain. If you have any other income, or if you have paid interest on student loan, any medical expenses, if you've done donations to charitable institution or political party, then I'll need the receipts for the same. If you have bought your house for the first time, then you will have some tax credits. You need to let me know. If there's any disability, then there are certain credits that I will enable when filing your tax return. Very important is if you have a property more than $100,000, then you will have to let me know that you are owning a property outside Canada for more than 100K, and we will discuss this in detail of how to file. Now comes the Ontario Trillium benefit. If you have paid rent or municipal taxes, and if your family income is below the prescribed limits, then you will get some Trillium benefits. I'll need some basic information of whom you paid, how much you paid during the year. If you're a first-timer filer, then I'll need the date of your landing, any income that you earned before landing. Now, this income is not taxable, but is required to calculate the benefits. And I'll need your bank information. The bank information is required so the refund and the benefits and the credit gets deposited directly into your bank income. Now, if you have driven Uber or Lyft, I'll need a Uber statement, the income that you have earned, and any expenses that you have incurred during the time driving the Uber that can be deductible. If you have an investment in property and you're earning a rental income, I'll need the address, the income that you earned, and any expenses that you have incurred. I've listed a exclusive list of expenses, so you can go through those expenses and start putting the numbers. Now, if you're moved from one place to another place due to your job requirements or you got another job, then we can claim some moving expenses, and I'll need some basic information to claim those expenses. If you are based on commission, then I'll need the commission income that you earned. And if you have received a T2200 form, which will allow you to deduct the expenses against the commission income, then I'll need the form and the list of expenses to calculate the net income. On receipt of all of this personal checklist and all the supportings along with it, I'll prepare a draft written. If you have any queries, you can contact me before sending me all the information. Once the draft written is prepared, I will email you the draft written along with the instructions of how to read those personal tax return. If you're good with the personal tax return, you will have to sign and email me the form T183, which you will receive as an attachment to the draft written. The form T183 is allowing me to e-file your tax return and says you have accepted the income and the taxes due. Once I receive the T183 form, I will e-file your tax return. After e-file, it takes 2 weeks normally to process the refund or get the notice of assessment. If you have any concerns or any questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you so much for watching.